Number 1. The Nevis Swing, located near Queenstown, New Zealand, is not merely an attraction, but a visceral, heart-in-your-throat confrontation with the void, offering a pendulum-like arc of pure, unadulterated adrenaline that is as psychologically terrifying as it is physically exhilarating. Perched high above the rugged Nevis Valley, participants are subjected to a protracted and nerve-shredding build-up, first via a precarious cable car journey to the isolated launch pod, which only amplifies the sense of isolation and scale, leaving them suspended 160 meters above the rocky riverbed below. The swing itself is a behemoth, a 300-meter arc that sees riders, either solo or in tandem, free fall at a breathtaking 70-degree angle, reaching speeds of up to 120 kilometers per hour as they plummet towards the canyon floor before the colossal pendulum effect sweeps them out across the vast chasm, transforming their sheer terror into a surreal, weightless euphoria. This 3.5-minute experience, one of the world's largest swings, masterfully plays on the primal human fear of falling, orchestrating a symphony of screams that quickly give way to breathless laughter and a profound, hard-earned sense of liberation, making it less of a simple thrill ride and more of a benchmark conquest against one's own deepest inhibitions. Number 2. The Sky Swing in South Africa is not merely an attraction, but a visceral, heart-in-your-throat confrontation with gravity and fear, often set against some of the most breathtaking landscapes on the continent. Found primarily at the top of the world-renowned Moses Mabhida Stadium in Durban or nestled within the rugged majesty of the Graskop Gorge in Mpumalanga, the experience begins long before the drop, as you are meticulously harnessed into a contraption that feels deceptively simple for the ordeal to come. The ascent is a slow, agonizing tease, hoisting you backwards and upwards until the world below, a sprawling urban mosaic or a primordial lush gorge, shrinks into a dizzying diorama, and the chatter of onlookers fades into a distant hum. Then comes the moment of terrifying suspension, a silent pause at the apex where you are utterly alone with the abyss below, your fate resting on a single, heart-stopping release. The plunge is a pure, unadulterated freefall, a screaming, exhilarating rush of wind and adrenaline as you arc through the air at terrifying speeds, a human pendulum swinging out over the edge of the world, completely vulnerable to the forces of nature and physics. It is a simultaneous assault on the senses and a liberation from them, a few seconds that stretch into an eternity, leaving you breathless, euphoric, and profoundly aware of being alive, forever branding the memory of South Africa's dramatic beauty not just in your mind, but in your very soul. Number 3. The Giant Canyon Swing is an act of pure, unadulterated audacity, a deliberate leap into the void that transcends mere adrenaline rush to become a profound psychological and physical event. Unlike a vertical drop, the swing begins with you playing an active role in your own demise, often having to take a running leap off the edge of a precipitous cliff or, in a moment of supreme trust, leaning back into nothingness until gravity takes over, a heart-stopping second of absolute freefall where the world vanishes and instinct screams that a terrible mistake has been made. Then, with a violent and merciful jerk, the pendulum arc of the swing engages, transforming your plummet into a soaring, graceful flight, though one charged with immense G-force power. You are catapulted at staggering speeds across the yawning chasm of the canyon, a tiny speck arcing against immense, ancient rock faces, the wind roaring past as you swing out over a river that looks like a silver thread far below. This is not a single moment of fear, but a prolonged roller coaster of sensation. The terrifying leap, the gut-lurching catch, the immense swings that see you hurtling toward one wall only to be pulled back into the open air, each pass a little gentler than the last, allowing the primal fear to gradually subside into a soaring, bird-like euphoria. It is a brutal yet beautiful dance with physics and fear, set in a scale of nature so vast it dwarfs everything else, leaving you breathless, vibrantly alive, and with the indelible memory of what it feels like to truly fly and fall in the heart of the Earth's grandeur. Number 4. Perched on the edge of a sheer precipice within the rugged, awe-inspiring expanse of Royal Gorge in Colorado. The cliffhanger is less a ride and more a deliberate, heart-pounding surrender to the abyss, an experience that masterfully blends breathtaking views with paralyzing fear. The ordeal begins the moment you step onto the platform, your feet firmly on solid ground while your eyes are drawn irresistibly over the edge to the dizzying 1,200-foot drop down to the Arkansas River below, a sight so vast and profound it feels like staring into the very core of the earth. Strapped into a harness facing outwards, you're not dropped but rather released, the ground literally falling away from your feet in a silent, horrifying instant that transforms into a smooth, accelerating freefall, a sensation not of dropping, but of the entire canyon rising up to meet you in a silent, surreal wave of rock and sky. This initial plunge quickly gives way to the swing's majestic, terrifying pendulum arc, hurling you at speeds up to 50 miles per hour in a colossal sweep across the canyon's face, a moment where sheer terror seamlessly melts into unparalleled exhilaration. You soar like a bird yet feel utterly insignificant against the monumental scale of the gorge, the silence broken only by the rush of wind and the pounding of your own heart. Each swing offering a new, dizzying perspective of the majestic bridge spanning overhead and the ancient rock walls around you. It is a pure, raw confrontation with elemental forces and your own deepest fears, set against one of America's most dramatic backdrops, leaving you with a humbling sense of the world's grandeur and a triumphant, electrifying buzz of having voluntarily stepped into the void and returned to tell the tale. Number 5. The slingshot swing is a visceral and psychological assault on the senses, a modern marvel of engineering designed to simulate the terrifying yet exhilarating sensation of a controlled freefall from a skyscraper's peak. Unlike its canyon-based cousins that leverage natural topography, the slingshot is a self-contained monument to adrenaline, often towering over amusement parks or cityscapes, its two slender towers and web of cables appearing deceptively fragile against the sky. The experience is a masterclass in anticipation. You are secured into a harness seat, often with your feet dangling precariously, before an agonizingly slow winch begins to retract, pulling you backwards and upwards, supine and vulnerable, until you are suspended hundreds of feet in the air, staring straight up at the clouds with the world inverted beneath your head. This inverted, helpless position at the apex maximizes the disorientation and dread, making the eventual release, triggered remotely without your control, all the more shocking. One moment you are in a state of tense equilibrium, and the next you are a human projectile catapulted into a breathtaking, high-velocity arc, experiencing a split second of weightless freefall before the giant pendulum swing takes over, hurtling you forward and upward at forces that push you deep into your seat. The world becomes a screaming, dizzying blur of sky and ground, a chaotic vortex of sensation where gravity seems to have lost all authority, only to be repeatedly pulled back and forth through the air in a series of diminishing, but no less intense, swings. It is a pure, unadulterated shot of adrenaline from start to finish, an experience that trades the natural grandeur of a canyon for the sheer, brutal intensity of physics and fear, leaving your nerves jangling and your breath stolen. A